The morning everything dropped, Nadia woke at 5 a.m. She lay in bed listening to Marcus breathing beside her, peaceful, unaware, and thought about the woman she had been 4 months ago, standing in his office doorway holding warm jollof rice like an offering. Never again. At 7 a.m., Josephine served Marcus with divorce papers at his office. At 8 a.m., Abena's feature went live. The headline read, "I built his career from my kitchen table. One woman's story of marriage, theft, and starting over." Nadia's photo was at the top. Her real name, her face, open and unafraid, her short hair, her story, every word of it, told in her own voice, calm, precise, devastating. She silenced her phone, finished her coffee, and went to wake her children for school. By noon, the article had been shared 600 times. By 2 p.m., Marcus's largest client had called to review their contract. By 4 p.m., the Henderson Group's legal team was on the phone because Nadia had kept everything. Every sketch, every time-stamped file, every dated drawing she had made at the kitchen table, while he called it a hobby. Marcus sat alone in his office, staring at the screen, reading the article for the 4th time, each read landing like a separate blow. He had believed she needed him more than he needed her. He had been catastrophically wrong. He picked up the phone with an unsteady hand. Henderson Group Legal was already waiting. He signed everything 3 weeks later. The house, half his savings, the Henderson settlement, primary custody, full financial disclosure. Poku, his lawyer, closed the folder quietly and said, "It's done." Marcus sat alone in a suddenly very quiet office and opened Instagram. Nadia's account, 11,000 followers. A groundbreaking ceremony photo. Her in a hard hat, laughing, shovel in hand, the Accra skyline behind her, completely alive. She stared at it for a long time. Then she put her phone face down on the desk. She hadn't been looking for anyone. That was the truth of it. She had gone to the investor meeting at the cantonment site prepared to be professional, portfolio ready, warmth calibrated to appropriate business friendliness. She had not prepared for Gabriel Mensah Kwate. Tall, quietly well-dressed, the kind of man who listened like it cost him nothing, fully, without waiting for his turn, without looking around the room for something more interesting. He had held her handshake a bit longer than necessary and said, "The Harbour District concept in your portfolio is remarkable. I've been trying to build something like that for 3 years. I know. I saw your Tema proposal in the trade press. The load distribution was wrong on the eastern wing." He smiled slowly. "Could I take you to coffee, professionally?" "Professionally," she agreed. They talked for 2 hours and covered everything: architecture, cities, childhood, what it meant to build something that outlasted you. When they finally noticed the time, they both laughed, the surprised, unguarded laugh of people who had enjoyed themselves far more than expected. "This was not entirely professional," he said. "No," she agreed. "It wasn't. I'd like to do it again, less professionally." She looked at him and felt, beneath the exhaustion and the legal paperwork and the long, strange work of dismantling 11 years, something she had almost forgotten was possible. clean, uncomplicated interest. One person drawn simply towards another. Saturday. I have the morning free. He smiled, unperformed, unguarded, the smile of a man who was pleased and saw no reason to hide it. Saturday morning, while Marcus sat alone in the house that felt too big and too quiet, Nadia sat across from Gabriel at a small place near the waterfront, hands wrapped around a coffee cup, sunlight coming through the window sideways. Her phone buzzed. Josephine. Marcus signed. Everything. It's done. She looked at the message for one moment. Then she turned her phone face down and picked up her coffee. You just heard something, Gabriel said, watching her. Yes. Good news? She thought about 11 years, 3 women, a career folded up and put in a drawer, a woman who had made herself small in a life that should have been enormous. And now, a project worth $12 million with her name on the contract, a house that was hers, children who were thriving, and across a small cafe table, a man who listened like breathing, easy, constant, and without effort. Yes, she said, very good news. Gabriel raised his cup. Then we should acknowledge that, he said simply. She raised hers. They clinked cups quietly in the morning light. And Nadia Mensah, not Osei, never again Osei, smiled the smile of a woman who had been to the bottom of something and come back up holding more than she went in with. Outside, Accra was loud and golden and alive. She had work to do, a life to build, on her own terms, in her own name. She couldn't wait. The end.
Thank you for listening to my family story, and I hope you learned something important from this story.
Please follow, like, share, and comment for more interesting stories. Bye!